Hello everyone, and welcome to the last leg of our California trip, day 8. Today we'll end our adventure, let's say, and on the very last leg now, leg 8. What we're going to do, we're going to leave Shelter Cove, where we are at the moment, and we will make our way down the coast towards the San Francisco Bay area. It's going to be a longer trip than usual, so it's quite well, almost twice as long as the other ones, but there's more to happen. So as we said, we're going to go down south, and then what's going to happen? I'm going to do a little touristic trip here of the Bay of San Francisco. Of course, I'm not definitely what we're doing wouldn't be legal at all. They would definitely send us to jail and throw away the key if we did anything like this, because we'll run down the coast, do a very low pass on the Golden Gate Bridge. Then we won't follow this. This is just traced for the flight plan, so I will input these waypoints on the flight plan, but then we'll probably still need to decide what to do. I don't know. We'll probably fly quite close to the San Francisco International Airport, and then make our way over here and intercept the last point before going for an hour-and-a-half approach to runway 30 of Kilo Hotel Alpha Foxtrot, which is Half Moon Bay Airport over here. We'll take it a little bit as we go, but that should make it a little bit more fun. Now, to do that, we have a little bit of planning to do for certain. So let's step in to the aircraft and see. We have 25.7. Well, we'll see. If the battery drops too much, we'll then do a GPU assisted startup. First of all, let's do our usual checks, but fairly quickly here. Over here, everything is down as it's supposed to be. Everything is off. We'll put the oxygen on. Here it's all off. Bleed and aircon is off, and all the de-icing system, inertia separator, everything is off. Let's set the parking brake. There we are. We have it set, and we're good to go. Now let's set here quickly, as we normally do. Just declutter this, zoom out a little bit, probably 15, as we'll be in the San Francisco area. We remove topo and we'll put terrain. Will be quite useful today. PFD, we're going to show the usual DME, bearing 1, bearing 2, and then we'll adjust them as we go. Altitude for today, again, the weather wasn't great, so I've decided to leave standard weather. Then over here, everything else, it's okay. As usual, do remember to set your transponder. I don't do it because I'm not online, but do remember, if you're online, to do all that. You can set it on standby and then activate it when you fly. Then for the flight plan, let's bring up the flight plan here. Well, we'll definitely need to follow the magenta line today and see where we're heading. So we'll hide the terrain, and actually let's leave nothing selected here so we have this good contrast. Zoom out a little bit and let's load the flight plan. Now, flight plan, start from K0Q5, so here in Shelter Cove, bring up where we need to go. Now, in terms of fuel, I've already loaded the payload and the fuel. We're gonna need around 500 kilograms, so I've loaded 120. How much did I load? 140. Oh yeah, good margin there. 140 gallons of fuel. Now, first waypoint is going to be a macro. So Alpha Mike, Alpha, Alpha Mike, Alpha, Kilo, Romeo. Oh, sorry. What happened there? I didn't select. The plan there. There we go. Now we do have the box. There we go. First point. Alpha, Mike, Alpha, Kilo, Romeo. I'm bearing on 152, 63 miles from here. Yeah, that's correct. Second is going to be Bors. Bravo. Oscar Alpha Romeo Sierra. There we go. After Bors, we're going to take an airway V199. So menu, load airway V199 to Stins. Load. After Stins, we're going direct to Gobs, Golf, Oscar, Bravo Bravo, Sierra. After Gobs, Berks, Bravo, Echo, Romeo, Kilo, Sierra. And then Mason, Mike. Am I entering in the right place? Yes, Mike, India, Sierra, Oscar, November. No, that was not correct. Wait, here we're playing up a little bit. Okay. Mason. Now we have it. And then the last waypoint is going to be Sapid. Sierra, Alpha, Papa, India, Delta. There we go. Finish with the arrival airport, which is Kilo, Hotel, Alpha, Foxtrot, Half Moon Bay. We'll load the approach, so procedure, select approach. There's going to be RNAV 30 through Sapid. As the transition is going to be Sapid because Sapid is our last waypoint. There we go. Minimums. Bring up the chart. This is a chart for Half Moon Bay. RNAV 30. Minimums is going to be 381. Minimum, turn it to Paro. 38 and leave it that way. Perfect. Load, remember not to activate it, otherwise you'll go straight there. Perfect. Everything is loaded. We'll just have a look, scroll through the plan and make sure that there's no discontinuities and it's all working well. So we start from the first waypoint. There we go. Amacre, Bos, Molen, Dubre, Stins, Gobs. Then we turn left. Then we turn right, right again, and we're on the approach. Perfect, fantastic, we have it. Now in terms of altitudes, we want to set the altitudes now because actually what we're planning to do is of course to descend a lot earlier. So over here at Gobs, we want to be at the altitude to do the low pass on the bridge. So we'll select at Gobs 800 feet, which is a very low pass. Let's see how it goes. 800 feet. And then we want to be for the final approach, I believe we need to be at 3,300 by Woolley. So Yumda 3,800. So by the time we're at Sapid, but then we'll do that manually. And then here, yeah, it's fine. We'll do the climb again manually to be at Sapid around 3,000, around 4,000. So then we can descend back onto the profile and intercept the 3,300 in white here, which is the final approach fix. And perfect. That's all set. Flight plan is good to go. Landing elevation. So landing field elevation here, we have it. It took you automatically from the flight plan. So 6.2 at KHAF. And we still have enough battery to start, so we might want to get going. So let's do that. Nav and strobe on. Auxiliary pump on. There we go. Start it on. Couple of seconds. And then release. 13%. Start the timer. Low idle. Let's close the doors as well. 30% by 30 seconds. And 50% by 60. Fantastic. Good start. Hide the timer, turn the screen back. Okay, auxiliary pump back to auto. Well, onto auto now. Fuel selector manual, AP trims on. Generator main. There we go. Flight idle. Always checking when you start the engine, the volts value goes back into green. If you have it in yellow like I did, it's because the source was still on GPU, as I had the GPU to charge the batteries, or the generator might not be on the correct setting and everything. So just double check that everything goes into the green. You have your ITT, oil pressure and temperature, and well, everything else really, electrical and so forth and so on. So everything is in the green. The only thing that we need is the trim for takeoff. You cannot trim, of course, when you don't have power, so I had to wait to bring the engine on. Rather ever so slightly to the right, we've seen works better. And we could, let's set the things that we forgot last time, so we don't this time. So the altitude. Altitude, I'm not quite sure what we're planning. So now the flight plan here is saying 290, but we're descending a lot earlier, so actually we need a lot less than that. I would do it around 22,000, and I think that's plenty. Also, we do want to be able to see something down there. Let's do 20,000. Flying along the coast, we want to see what's down there. So 20,000 the altitude. I don't know if we have charts for this airport, just to see the runway heading. 0Q5. No charts. We'll synchronize the heading once we're on the runway. Okay, we're good to go. Turn on the aircon. Inertial separator. Do light checks. Everything is working properly. And it is. Up there, everything is good. Taxi light comes on. Remove the chocks. When you remove the chocks, always check that you have a parking brake active, which we have, we do. And we're good. So release the brake. And off we go. Let's press the toga go around button. There we are. So we have the autopilot set, takeoff, flight director, takeoff. He knows already we are at the airport, and we're tracking the first waypoint there. We've seen the runway is not really flat, it's a bit... The scenery here is not entirely correct, I guess. There we go. Stop here. Hold just short of the runway. There we go. Set the parking brake. Pitot goes on. Landing light on. Everything here is correct. Just a chance to check that everything is as it should be. The autopilot is activated. Takeoff. 20,000 feet, the altitude. Need to remember to do the heading. Everything else, we have less than 50 amps, so we're good to start. Volt is nice and green, fully charged. Landing field elevation is there. Fuel 140, well 137, that's what we need. Oil, ITT, everything looks good. There we are. At this point we would activate the transponder. There we go, transponder is on. We can check. Well, considering what we're doing today, we will actually inhibit the terrain warning system that you would definitely would not do in reality. But we're not risking anybody's life. So just for the sake of tranquility, inhibit. TOS, inhibit. There we go, so the lady's not going to scream at us when we're too low. For the rest, we don't need weather radar today. There's no weather or traffic. Perfect. We're good to go. Now we normally just feather the engine. Whoopsie. Feather. Check that that goes correctly. RPM below 500. Yeah. And then back to flight idle. Perfect. Release the parking brake. And we're off. Flaps down to take off. Just one notch. Yeah, this runway is, and I believe there's a big step somewhere down the runway there. Yeah, let's see how this goes. Synchronize runway heading. Just press the heading button in the middle. And there we are. Ready to go. Torque up to around 50%. Check the prop RPM is in the green, around 2000. Release the brake and throttle up. Take off thrust as close as you can to 100 without over torquing. There we go. Let's look up for that. 90 to rotate. 90 knots. Rotate. There we go. Gear up. Onto the flight directors. Nice expanse of sea ahead of us, so we can just set vertical speed 1300 now. We'll resynchronize the heading back, and then we press heading. Try and get closer to the flight directors, and then we can set yaw damper and autopilot. There we go, above 115 knots. We can retract the flaps, so flaps are up. There we go. Now today we'll look at a climb at 170 feet per minute. Recently we've been using vertical speed. Today we'll go back to using flight level change, which again I'm not entirely sure you do in reality. Most airplanes, especially airliners and SOPs of airliners is frowned upon. I don't know how it works with a TBM, if you are supposed to use it or not. But it's quite handy. It keeps the speed. We select the speed and it keeps that for us. Now we want to go and intercept the VNAV path, sorry, the LNAV path. If we press nav, it doesn't, because we're not close enough or intersecting. So we just turn the heading right to go back and intercept it. It is a track of 152. Let's try and intercept it quickly enough. So we go for 172, 20 degrees. And then if we press nav now, as soon as it's available, we're going to intercept it. So we're good. We are on heading green and GPS whenever we can. Flight level change at 170 knots, and then we'll intercept the altitude at 20,000. Keep an eye on torque. Make sure as we climb it stays close to 100. It's 89. Could bring it up a little bit, but I'm about to switch off the inertia separator, so always remember that then the torque will increase naturally. There we go, the truck is coming in. We're about to intercept it. Let's have a look at what the autopilot does there. We're still on heading green and GPS white. We trust the autopilot, but we always try and observe what it does. There we go. GPS is now green. We intercepted. Turn the inertia separator off. We check the pressurization. We're pressurizing. You can see the altitude in feet. Inside the cabin the pressure is 1,300 and rate of climb is 370. As you can see, we got the warning on top that we were just above 100 in terms of torque. We can have a look at the flight plan. We can turn the landing lights off as well as we're here. Here we go, so the flight plan. So to SAP it, well, to the actual destination airport, it's press cumulative. We can see here 1 hour and 14 minutes. That is a way to go, but we start getting interesting earlier than that. As we said, after GOBS we will start to fly over the Golden Gate, so that's in 43 minutes from now. As I was saying in the last few videos, of course it is very important to have a checklist. As you see me doing it by heart, not using checklists, only because, well, inevitably when you read from a checklist and then you go and check that item and then you need to go back and find a second item, it would make the videos a lot longer. So as I anticipated, I said, well, I don't mind forgetting a switch, and every now and then, if it makes the videos more fluid. But when you're flying, definitely get in the habit of using checklists. Of course, well, first of all, is the most realistic way of flying, and you do have certain checklists at certain points, like even a 737 pilot will do his flow from memory. But then we'll have certain point checklists that need to be done. Here you can use different things. You can use the X checklist. For example, I found this one online, which is really, really good, from a chap called Jean-Pierre Goofy. It's very thorough. You have all the procedure, even some of the checks, light checks and engine checks and so forth and so on. So that's very good. And it's a proper X checklist with all the actions that get selected automatically as soon as you take that action. So for example, now we are before taxi, run up checks. It's quite thorough. And then takeoff, like for example, putting the headphones on, which I had forgotten, and flaps, yaw damper on, landing light switch are off, inner separation is off. Yeah, we did everything. We're not too bad. And then it tells you what to respect and sort of everything. It's really, really nice. Otherwise, you can use, which are less thorough, the checklist from the TBM itself. So you can just open up. I have them saved here, I believe. There we go. So you have normal checklist 01, normal checklist 02, and those run you through the important bits as well. There we go. So on climb, you want the flaps up, climb speed recommended 124, trims, yaw damper, line, landing lights, throttle, and etc. So this is a nice way of doing it as well. Of course, this adds a little bit more realism because the normal checklist would be on paper. And lastly, you have as well the checklist in here on the MFD, your G1000. You have the checklist, which is pretty much the same as the paper ones, the ones we've just seen. And you can just go to, I believe you tick them all like this, or you scroll through them, and you can go to next checklist. And that's very handy as well. Because it's on the same screen as the flight plan, I don't really like to use this one. We need to keep switching in between them. It's not really big bother. You just press one button and press the other one, but depends what you've flown before. So this is really, really good as well. You have many different ways of doing it. What is that to our left? Let's see. Fort Bragg. Remember to throttle up as you keep climbing and the torque decreases. There we go. Nothing to see for a while. I'll put a little music. And then I'll see you in a few minutes when we're closer to the action. I'll see you in a minute. And here we are. We're closer to top of descent now. Only 2 minutes and 30 seconds from top of descent. So let's set our altitude 800 feet. We're ready for the descent. Of course, being so low, do remember, if you have real weather, check your QNH. You want that to be absolutely spot on accurate. So GOBS will put us in a nice position to go and cross the bridge. So shortly after GOBS, we will revert to heading mode. Then we will keep flying heading all the way until re-intercepting Sapit. I would like to fly by hand, but we'll most likely just keep autopilot and heading in vertical mode. Unfortunately, as we've seen, especially on the approaches and on the landings, it's very difficult to control smoothly. It's incredibly reactive to controls. I could adjust them, but then they would be the same for every other airplane, and on airliners they're absolutely spot on as they are, so I don't want to mess about with them. So with our vertical track, so I've activated it. We can see for now is there the magenta sign. So we're good, we're about to intercept. We have enough path. That's the only regret, the only thing that unfortunately I like less of the TBM is that it's not easy to fly manually, and I wish it was. As I said, probably just laziness of me not trying to reset the response of the joystick and everything, but it works perfectly for every single airplane I have, so I don't want to mess about with that. There we go, we started the descent. As usual, we monitor the speed. Just double checking to be absolutely certain that the QNH is standard. Yeah, 1013. Quite high days. Another 10 minutes and 50 seconds to bottom of descent. So let's say I'll skip a little bit of the video and I'll see you closer to the bottom of the descent. See you in a minute. There we are, a little closer to our top of descent. We have now our landing lights on and inertia separator on. We're passing 4,200 feet. Headed for Stings, the waypoint just before Gobs. There we are, so 10 miles to go to Gobs. You can start to see, actually see now, the Golden Gate there. San Francisco. Might even be the airport we're going to. I don't think we do yet. There we go. Now on the last waypoint there, Gobs, we start taking us towards the bridge.
Vertical track.
Starts to be quite low now. There we go, 10 seconds to turn. There we are, altitude 800 feet maintained. And GPS track. We'll then revert to heading. There we are, synchronize the heading back. Activate heading mode. Heading is in green. Now we just eyeball it. So as I mentioned previously, I believe these landmarks come by installing the, it's actually a freeware airport for San Francisco, and it's from Mr. X. It's absolutely phenomenal. You have a few landmarks around the bay. It's fantastic, and the airport is stunning, absolutely stunning. I wouldn't go any lower than 800 feet. Unless you want to go below, under the bridge. Look at the details here. Absolutely amazing. There we are, let's start making a turn. Right turn. Is that Alcatraz? It's not San Francisco Alcatraz, it was Coldwater. Or is it? Don't know what that is. It was actually Alcatraz. That's what it was. Might be part of the scenery from Mr. X as well. I don't know if it's standard. Okay, let's try and pass closer to the airport. Have a look at that as well. San Francisco is, again, as I mentioned, the very top of my bucket list of places to visit in the world. Just trying to fill the piggy bank to make it there. There's the airport coming up. And of course, what we're about to do will definitely grant us several years in jail if it was done in real life. 800 feet, flying right in the middle of an international airport. It's just maybe not exactly flying on top of it. And there it is. For a freeware, the level of detail in this airport is absolutely astonishing. Look at this. At night especially is particularly beautiful. There we go. So let's try and intersect our track again. Let's turn left. Yeah. Try and declutter this map. It's a bit too much stuff. There we go. So our track is straight ahead of us. Let's start climbing. So let's select that. We can stay at 3,300, which is the altitude at the final approach fix. Just go up in vertical speed. And then we'll activate the final approach and go directly to Sapit. And here to the west is a very nice airport as well to land at, which is, what is it called? What it is? I remember flying over this area. I don't know why that terrain is red there, but it's absolutely beautiful part of the scenery here. So that would be Hayward Executive Airport. And if you're coming from the east and you're landing, well, heading northwest, you pass about this area over here. And we're actually going for it, so we'll delay the turn a little bit so we can have a look at that. Don't know what it is. I don't know why those colors. Yeah, it is exactly like that even in reality. Exactly the same colors. So this is proper photographic scenery. Don Edwards, San Francisco Bay National Wildlife Refuge. This area. Stunning, absolutely stunning. Okay, let's start to make our way back. We need to go to Sapit, so best way to do it now is to ignore the plan, as Sapit is the first point of the approach over here. So we can just directly activate SAPID. So activate the approach. Press procedure. Go and activate approach. Enter. And that's it. Now we were on heading, of course, we put nav. I will intercept. Look at that. Apparently these are... yeah, that makes sense. They are salt ponds. That's why the color. Bright pinks, pumpkin orange, neon greens, and deep magentas contrasted against the dark blues of the natural bay water. This is an extra from a website I just found. Yeah, salt ponds, but apparently they're disappearing. Shame. A colorful salt making history. 600 tons of salt per year. Not bad. Anyway, let's see. Looks like 3,300 feet might not be enough, so let's go up to 4,000 and clear this terrain in front of us. We are still a little bit low, but we definitely wouldn't be at this altitude in real life, but neither we would be flying on top of the Golden Gate and on top of many things we've done today, so big disclaimer, of course, don't think of doing anything you've seen in this video even remotely similar in real life. Yeah, let's climb a little. If you make any sort of mistake this close to the ground, that's it, that's you, there's no recovery from anything. Okay, now in terms of altitude, let's see, we need to be at 3,800 feet at Junda. The top descent is 3 minutes from now. Also, what we could do... No, it's fine, we're close enough. I was thinking of going direct to Junda, but we're coming up. We're only 30 seconds from the turn, so there's no point. Now, let's check the arrival procedure. Everything is correct. So 3,300 at Woolley, and we have that. Then 2020 at Mafcha, which is over here, and then runway is 76 feet. Top of descent 1 minute and 30 seconds. So we are holding at 4,500 feet, so let's put our next altitude. Can put 3,300 already, which will intercept then the GPS glide path. Activate VNav, making sure that VPath in white is there. Sometimes when you click it, it doesn't activate, so do make sure that that happens. Everything you click here as usual, click or rotate or set or anything, make sure that it's reflected here.
Vertical track.
We're heading for the mountains, but we will be then turning left, hopefully before the mountains. Yeah, we are. We're just skirting the top of the mountains, left of the ridge. Okay, the landing lights are on, inertia separator is on, terrain inhibit is on, and we're good. QNH, as you said, is standard, so we're good. And the airport is just down there. There we go. Started the descent. Start to slow down a little. Now we're heading for Junda. So we are at 14.6 miles from the airport. Should be turning roundabout now. Yeah, got me worried there for a second. Turning the wrong way around. Yeah, we're not exactly on track. He got overshot that turn, but should be recatching it soon. They reverted, instead of normal VNav path, reverted onto the ANAV, the GPS path, which is the diamond here instead of being the little chevron, the little arrow. So we can, as that comes down, we can hit approach. Here in white now, instead of V path, we have GP, so the glide path. As the diamond comes down the middle, we should intercept that. Remember, it is a non-precision approach, it's not an ILS. We need to monitor it a little bit more closely. Looks like it's gonna set us slightly high, but let's see if it catches again. There's 3 white and 1 red. Looks fairly accurate anyway, we're just straight down the runway. We can put cumulative here, We can have a look how far we are from the runway. 8.6 miles. Start to slow down a little. Minimums was quite low, it was 380 feet, so plenty of time. We said you can slow down as far ahead as you want. Of course, it's always better to slow down a little earlier and have more time to be fully configured and to stabilize the approach than to rush it at the last minute. We're now 5 miles. So let's start putting down the gear. The first notch of flaps, we are below 178, so that's the gear extension and first flap speed limit. And then we will look at to be fully configured at 2 miles from the airport. We're a little high, there's 4 wide there, so we'll take control quite soon. When you deactivate the autopilot as well, based on that, how well the GPS takes you to the runway. So now we're a little high, so we want to take control a little earlier. Descend below 122. We put the last notch of flap. Be careful, not a slotted flap, it's a standard flap, so it is very draggy. It really changes your attitude that now the autopilot is controlling. What we're going to do, we're going to disconnect the autopilot from here. It disconnects the yaw damper as well. And we're going to fly in manually. Remember, the final approach speed we want to be between 85 and 90. Then ideally you want to touch down around 70. It depends on weight. You can get some performance charts for the TBM. And control that, check that on the day based on your weight. Still for wide, so we need to descend a bit faster. We're 100 knots, we should be descending at 500 feet per minute. We're doing now 750 to intercept that glide path. There we are, 1 red, 3 white. .94, slow down a little. Minimum, so we continue. There we go. 2 red, 2 white. 80 knots ground speed, should be descending at 400 feet per minute. And maintain that. Little bit slow, but we're okay. We have the indicator there in front of us for the angle of attack, so we're good. Lead the speed a little. There we go. And we're down. Reverse it. We're nice and slow, we're barely gonna need any brakes. Stow the reverses by 40 knots. And we're down. Welcome to Half Moon Bay Airport. See if we have a taxiway at the end. Yes, we do. Flaps can come up. Light taxi, strobe off. Pitot heat can go off now. There we go. So it was a very nice flight here. I decided to cut a couple of the boring bits, otherwise it would have been an exceptionally long flight. But it's good. I can't believe all of a sudden it's finished. At the beginning it looked like such a long series. Now it feels like it flew. Well, literally. No pun intended at all there. I've just downloaded in the last couple of days as well a few more areas. I've downloaded Nevada, Colorado, Arizona and Utah, which are absolutely stunning. They're absolutely stunning. The colors, the terrain, the sceneries are incredible. I might, you know, let me know in the comments if you want, if you like me to organize a little tour of some very scenic maybe locations in Nevada or Grand Canyon or Utah, Colorado. I'd be very happy actually to do something like that. There we go, parking brake. Inertial separator goes off. And voila, low idle as usual. Aircon off. And here we are. Powering down for the last time. Well guys, it's been an absolute blast. It's been really good fun. I hope some of you might have taken inspiration, whether to buy the TBM or to do a trip like this or to download Forkboy. And it is really a lovely part of the world to fly in, and I'm glad we did it with such an outstanding airplane. Absolutely kudos to the developer. It's an incredible piece of explain engineering, let's say. I genuinely hope you had fun, and I don't know, I did this for fun. I'm not planning on being a YouTuber at all by any stretch of imagination, but if you had fun and you wanted to see some other locations, I'm happy to do a little bit of research and then maybe do some other videos in some of the other areas that I downloaded. For now, if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching, and I hope I'll see you soon somehow. Thank you again. Bye now.